I have been playing and enjoying Pragmata for the last 2 weeks, and in this video we'll take a look at how I earned the platinum in just over 26 hours. Pragmata didn't catch my attention until recently. I know Capcom has been killing it lately with their games, so when I was trying to decide what to play next, Pragmata's demo caught my eye as I wanted to see what the hype was all about. It didn't take long for me to decide this would be my next adventure, as the setting and unique combat grabbed me right away. As soon as I finished the sketchbook demo, I immediately went onto the PlayStation Store and bought the full game. There was something deeply nostalgic about playing Pragmata that I can't quite put my finger on. I'm not sure whether it was something as simple as the UI and menu designs or the combat and the story, but I found myself drawn into this game from the very start, and it was very hard for me to put it down until I completed everything available. There is a great variety of weapons, and I found myself actually using everything in the available toolkit throughout my journey. In the early game, I loved getting up close and blasting enemies with the shockwave gun. Later on, I unlocked hacking mines. I didn't quite understand how they worked at first, but then I accidentally destroyed a group of enemies in seconds and realized their true potential. During my Lunatic playthrough, I primarily used the limb cannon, which is unlocked after completing the Unknown Signal epilogue. This thing was a monster that took some getting used to, but once I did, I was able to take everything down in my path, including bosses. I used my first playthrough to enjoy the game on the standard difficulty and completed everything, which included the main story and Unknown Signal epilogue, finishing all training sims with the highest ranking, and earning all 34 obtainable trophies in this mode. This would let me focus on completing a second playthrough on Lunatic difficulty to earn the final trophy and the platinum. The trophy list itself is pretty straightforward. I want to say off the top, the artwork on these trophies is probably the best I've ever seen. They are so colorful and pretty to look at. To earn all of them, you'll need to complete the story and 100% clear the checklist of each of the 6 main areas. There are collectibles to be found and some side activities required, like the training sims, but you don't have to do absolutely everything. There are also a handful of combat trophies that you may unlock naturally as you play, but I did have to go back for a couple of them in the post-game. Finally, Lunatic Mode is unlocked after completing the story for the first time. This mode is much more difficult, with enemies having larger health pools and doing more damage. You cannot do New Game Plus in this mode, so it's kind of like a fresh start, but you do get access to weapons and hacking nodes earlier on than you would have through the normal difficulty. The most challenging trophy on this list will be the Lunatic Mode, but even that can be trivialized with the right setup. With all that said, let's invert our y-axis and take a look at my journey to the platinum for Pragmata. The start of Pragmata is super cool as we see the shuttle fly towards the moon base. I'm a huge fan of sci-fi and space travel, so I find these kinds of scenes mesmerizing. It doesn't take long before Hugh is separated from his crew and Diana comes to his rescue. I learn how to use my weapon and hack for the first time, which creates a unique twist on combat. Hacking is critical to being successful in combat, so navigating these grid-based puzzles while also dodging and shooting will be important to get good at. I eventually make my way to a tram and take it into the shelter for my first trophy, Rendezvous. The shelter is the central hub and safe area. Over time, it'll be upgraded so you can access improvements to your weapons and equipment. You also get a chance to socialize and talk with Diana to learn more about what's going on around here. One of the first things I did when I got here was talk with Diana, unlocking the small talk trophy.
It's pretty.
The first zone is the solar power plant. Each of the areas is pretty linear. There are some branching paths that will give you rewards like upgrade components, chests to loot, or other collectibles. I also come across some areas that are inaccessible right now, but will be able to come back later with new equipment. This game also is very generous with its escape hatches, which act as checkpoints in each of the zones that let us safely travel back to the shelter to restock. During my exploration, I come across a mini cabin for the first time. These little guys can be found throughout the game and make a repetitive little sound when they are nearby. I try to jump up to collect him, but when that doesn't work, I try the next best thing and shoot him, giving me the well-spotted trophy. I also find my first Read Earth memory, or REM, which can be given as a gift to Diana when we're back at the shelter where the item will be replicated. The next time I take the escape hatch back home, I talk with Diana and give her the REM as a gift. This first one is a globe. After the globe is replicated, I'm rewarded with the trophy for me. Back out at the solar power plant, I take a lift up a shaft and collect another upgrade component. While I'm up here, I can hear a mini cabin is nearby, so I start looking around. I notice a wall is shimmering and a button prompt shows up. I press triangle and reveal a room behind a hollow wall, unlocking the wall? What wall trophy.
The heck? Where'd the wall go?
It was just a hologram.
After collecting the loot in this previously hidden room, I drop back down and find the mini cabin on a nearby vent and pop him before moving on. I find my way to the first boss of the game, the Sector Guard. This fight involves a lot of dodging, hacking, and shooting its weak points. I learn about critical hits that can take a large chunk out of the enemy's health pool. I also unlock the overdrive ability that Diana can use that will stun and open up the enemies for more attacks. I eventually take the Sector Guard down, restoring power to this area. Hugh teaches Diana how to do a high five. We grab a shelter license key to upgrade the shelter level and head back to base, unlocking the Power Trip trophy. We meet a fun new friend back at the shelter named Cabin. He offers us access to the Cabin stamp boards, which are little bingo cards we can use coins to scratch off boxes for different rewards. I spend a little time upgrading my gear and talk with Diana again. This time she surprises me with a present of my own and shows me a picture she drew, earning me the trophy, thanks for everything.
Uh-huh, I drew it.
Our next destination is the communications tower in the mass production array. I thought this was the best looking area of the game. I was mesmerized the first time I walked out to see the city. It just looks so cool, especially when I'd find cars and other landmarks half 3D printed. This sector was the first time I had come across a red zone. These require a red key that you will find in limited spots around the maps, or unlocked via the Cabin stamp board. These are small arenas that have some pretty tough fights, but are worth it for the rewards. Securing this first one gave me the Red Zoned and Loving It trophy.
That was amazing, Hugh.
I encounter a sweeper bot for the first time down an alleyway, which defeating one of these is needed for a trophy and is technically the only missable one, since these little guys can only be found in specific spots and don't always spawn. I actually only found 2 of them in my first playthrough. I didn't have much success hacking it during my introduction to him. I chased him around the area, but he would always get too far away and I couldn't finish my hack. If you hit them with a stasis net, you can buy yourself more time, but I missed my shot. They are significantly easier to hack later once you have sticky bombs, as it will reduce how many nodes you need to clear to successfully hack them. For now, I'll begrudgingly move on.
Lost it.
I pick up a decoy generator for the first time and immediately put it to good use. I throw it down in a marked area and hack a nearby panel to fire up a limb recycler and get the Round 'em Up trophy for defeating at least 3 enemies at the same time in this fashion.
Look out!
A few rooms later, I come across an upgrade for Diana that allows her to clear out some of this debris, which also gives me access to previous areas that I couldn't get to before. I finally make it to the comms tower, but must fight the gigantic bot boss first. After lots of hacking, lots of shooting, and lots of dodging, it is eventually taken down after Diana drops a building on it. Inside the comms tower, we find a holographic cat that points us to a new destination, the Terra Dome.
I was caught in the moonquake, and am trapped here.
With some new direction from this cat, we unlock the trophy, the Purr-fect Guide. I give Diana another REM, which completes my first set for the Replicating Extraordinaire trophy.
Replicating related objects.
Did it! Look, we've collected the entire series.
In my next conversation with Diana, I'm given the option to play with her, which starts a game of hide and seek. I'm ashamed to admit how long it took me to find her considering how small the space is here, but I'm given the Peekaboo trophy when I do locate her behind the coloring easel.
Aw, I was sure you wouldn't find me there.
While I'm at the shelter, I chat with Cabin and he gives me access to the training sims. I decide to check them out right away and complete my first one, earning the Mr. Simulator trophy. I found these training sims to be a lot of fun. The early ones are pretty easy and net you some good rewards like cabin coins and upgrade components. While you only need to complete the main objective in all of these to earn every trophy related to them, I did complete all optional objectives as well in a single run to earn a perfect rating in all 30 training sims. Some of the later ones were much more difficult and took me many attempts, but they aren't impossible. I earn enough cabin coins from the training sims that were available now to go back and complete the first trainee stamp board with cabinet, unlocking all the rewards from doing so and the trophy Blackout. I head to the Terra Dome to find whoever sent our hologram feline friend. While making my way through the area, I find some training data that unlocks new sims back at the shelter. During one of those training sims, the game conveniently lines up some enemies for you to shoot down with a charge piercer. Fully charging it up and launching it through a single file group of enemies did over 6,000 collateral damage for a trophy. With the new training sims completed, I continued through the Terra Dome and spotted a familiar foe through a window. There was a sweeper bot staring at me, menacingly. I backtracked a little and target and successfully hacked it this time, destroying it for a good amount of limb and also the potentially missable trophy. You're not getting away that easy. I used some of my newfound currency to upgrade my weapons. I've really enjoyed the drone hives as they attack nearby enemies automatically. I fully upgrade them to level 3, which requires using a pure lunum I had been obtaining from chests, which unlocks the top shelf item trophy. The Terra Dome has a mini boss near the middle of it that is a repeat of the sector guard we fought near the beginning of the game. I had been using the offense mode for Diana's hacking, which turns the open blue nodes into offensive nodes that can increase hack damage when you pass through them. That mode combined with the exposed node lets Diana deal some pretty heavy damage when hacking. Dealing over 3,000 damage with a single hack gave me the Who Needs Guns trophy. With the mini-boss eliminated, we find the source of the hologram cat, another Pragmata named 8 who is trapped. We unlock the trophy for finding her and then move on to figure out a way to get her out.
You two look like twins.
Yeah.
In order to save 8, we have to defeat this huge scorpion-looking boss. I don't find it to be too much trouble, but it is one of the more difficult bosses I've faced. His sweeping attacks are hard to recognize and time my jumps to avoid, but I eventually get a final critical hit to take it down. This allows us to use the Luna Filament Regulator, which removes the tree that had trapped 8. After going back up and meeting with her, we are rushed out of the room as a lockdown begins, but I am rewarded the trophy Entrusted Memory. It's now time to head to the Luna Mines to reboot Edis, the rogue AI controlling all of these enemies. This area takes us outside for the first time, where we get to jump around in lower gravity. This made for some new ways to explore and get around. When outside, there is a giant mech worm called the Luna Digger that can interrupt whatever you're trying to do. The Luna Digger is also the final fight of this area. This fight can be pretty long compared to the other bosses. It's a little more difficult to hack because of how much it moves around, including burrowing under the ground. I chip away at its health bar and walk up to it for a final critical hit to eliminate it. I find Edis and Diana helps me reboot it, only for it to transfer control to 8. Despite us saving her earlier, 8 turns on them and attacks both Hugh and Diana. Hugh's able to escape with Diana, and this unlocked the Mission Unveiled trophy.
Let's head back. We need to regroup.
We rush Diana to a hidden area called Experimental Pragmatics, where she was originally created, to get her repaired. During that process, she gains the ability to cleanse these areas of dead filament that I couldn't get past previously. I clear the way back to the tram and ride it to the shelter, giving me the Awakening trophy. I take some time to use the training sim and earn more rewards. I have enough cabin coins to clear more spaces on my current stamp card and unlock the hacking mines as my final weapon and earn the trophy Can't Stop, Won't Stop.
Triple bingo! Congratulations!
I love the hacking mines. They didn't make sense to me at first, but the first time I accidentally wiped out a group of enemies in seconds with them, I saw the true potential. I tried to keep these with me at all times from that point. It was time to stop 8 from trying to corrupt and destroy Earth by heading to the final area, the central port. There is another mini-boss here, but nothing a shot from the Riot Blaster and a critical hit couldn't stop. Taking it down gave me the Sentinel Breach trophy. I take a brief respite at the shelter to work on some more training sims and upgrade my gear. At this point, I had unlocked all the available training simulations in the game. During the 30th and final training sim, I had thrown down a couple mines and hacked them with multi-hack and confuse. One of the enemies that has 4 large shields spawned and was hit by the mine, confusing him into thinking I'm his friend. Instead of attacking me, he used his shield to protect me instead, unlocking the trophy Can I Borrow This? Completing this final training sim gave me the Master of the Simulator trophy for finishing the main objective in every training sim. I did eventually get the perfect rating on this one as well, giving me perfect ratings across the board. There's no trophy reward for this, but it felt good to do it. It was time to get back to my final mission of stopping 8. I worked my way through the rest of Central Port and found the final escape hatch. Bringing it online earned me the Escape Artist trophy. This was also the first sector I was able to obtain 100% progress in since I had all of my upgraded tools at my disposal. Grabbing the final loot box on the checklist in this area gave me the Cradle Surveyor trophy. It was time to finish this. I head down the hallway and find 8 for our final confrontation. She has several phases, but as long as you use all the tools you've learned over the course of the game, the fight isn't too bad. I set some hacking mines down in the center to hit her whenever she was nearby. I also tried to keep her heat gauge up in order to land some critical hits when I could. The thing that gave me the most trouble was when I had to hack and avoid the red pulses. If you get caught in them, it would reset your hack and make you start all over. I drain her health and Diana finishes her off with an overdrive attack. With 8 out of the way, we board the lift to take us up to the shuttle and get us home to Earth. But not before one final monster born from the dead Luna filament in the area tries to stop us. This final sequence is epic. Hugh straps on some cannons and we flow out into space to stop the monster as it chases us up the outside of the lift. Diana hacks it to open it up for attacks, and Hugh times the cannon shots to do maximum damage. Before we have a chance to finish the job, it takes out the shuttle at the top. Diana charges up a final cannon shot and Hugh blows it away.
Here we go!
Hugh and Diana manage to get back to the shuttle bay and are only able to find a cargo ship just big enough for Diana to fit in. Hugh sets her inside and manually pushes the cargo ship to the launch area before he sends it to Earth, leaving himself behind. This completes the main campaign and gives us the final story trophy, Our Promise. Finishing the story unlocks a new game mode called Unknown Signal. This picks up your final save data and unlocks a new hidden chamber that has 10 encrypted sim pods that will unlock additional rewards if all of them are completed. In order to access all of the pods, we need to achieve 100% sector progress in all sectors, as well as fight and defeat new enhanced bosses in each area. The first sim pod is unlocked automatically, so I decided to try that first before going through and clearing out the previous sectors. The first training sim has you practice with a new weapon that was unlocked for completing the game. The jackhammer ignores whether or not the enemy is hacked and does massive damage. You can also get a second attack off with a laser if you time your attack trigger correctly. Finishing your first mission in the hidden sector rewards the trophy, a Lunar challenge. It was time to go open all the chests and gather collectibles throughout each of the zones. The game has a pretty generous scan that will show you where these items are. I took the tram to any section that I still had an incomplete checklist and used the scan to track down those remaining items. I also made it a point to hit each of the new enhanced bosses up to clear them out as well. The fights are definitely more difficult, but they aren't too bad. During my cleanup in the Lunar mines, I fought off the Luna Digger for the trophy Courage and Desperation. I couldn't believe how long this actually took. I thought it was going to be quicker and easier than the boss fight with it, but it was essentially the same fight all over again. What finally helped me was using my overdrive on it to stun and open it up for attacks, then shooting its weak point before using my jackhammer on it. It eventually retreated back underground and I got my trophy. One set of collectibles that is not listed on the sector checklist are the mini cabins. I had been gathering these throughout my playthrough anytime I heard them, but I was still missing several of them. I was a little confused on how to figure out which ones I was missing because they didn't appear in any of the lists in the menus, but I finally realized that they had been showing up on my desk as I collected them. I was able to cross-check a video guide online with the 3 I was missing and locate them pretty quickly. I will provide a link to that guide in the description of the video below in case you want to use it as well. Shooting the final one added it to my collection and gave me the Mini Hunter Supreme trophy. I had one final combat trophy to get before finishing up Unknown Signal. To get the trophy Clean Up on Aisle 3, you must cleanse 3 or more enemies at the same time with Diana's charged up cleanse attack. The best place I found to attempt this in the post-game was in the central port at the research sector gate. Once you drop down here, 3 enemies will spawn that have this corruption on them. I threw down a decoy and waited for them to bundle up while I charged up Diana's cleanse attack. Once it was fully charged, I walked up and used it, hitting all 3 at once and getting the trophy.
I'll take care of it. It's on now.
With everything else done, I went back to the hidden chamber to complete all of the encrypted training pods now that they were all available. I worked my way through the other 9 pods, which opened the room at the back and gave me access to my final rewards. This included a black box mod, an outfit for Diana and one for Hugh, and finally a new weapon, the limb cannon. I didn't know it at the time, but this weapon was going to be my best friend during my Lunatic playthrough. I received a new objective, which was to take down 8 again in another enhanced boss fight. I read online to equip the black box mod we just received from the Unknown Signal room before the fight, so I went ahead and did that in preparation for the battle. I took her out without too much trouble, Hacking was a little harder this time around, it felt, but I tried to focus on attacks that built up her heat gauge and use overdrive when it was available so I could get in close for a critical hit. I was able to keep her locked down with some hacking mines for one of her phases. With the fight against the enhanced 8 boss battle finished, we get to the cargo shuttle and send Diana off to Earth again, but this time we unlock an extra scene during the ending, and the trophy, The Right Man for the Job.
Welcome back. What's this? Traveling alone today?
That left one final trophy between me and the Platinum, and that was for completing the game on Lunatic difficulty. This mode is no joke. You cannot start this game in New Game Plus with all of your unlocks and upgrades carrying over. Enemies hit much harder and take more damage. To help you deal with the difficulty spike, you do start unlocking new hacking nodes and weapons much earlier than you did in the regular game. I'll be straight up, I used a guide for this playthrough. If you have not seen his guides before, Optinoob puts out some wonderful video walkthroughs, and he held my hand the entire way through. I'll provide a link to his video in the description below if you'd like to do the same. The entire playthrough was focused around the limb cannon that is unlocked from completing all the encrypted pods from the Unknown Signal epilogue. This weapon uses limb currency as ammunition, but if charged up and timed right, you not only one-shot most enemies with the stronger attack, but they will also drop more limb for you to pick up than you use to kill them. On the other hand, if you can't get the timing right on your shots, you'll burn through all your limb and have nothing to show for it. The key to using this weapon is charging it up and releasing the trigger right as the bar in the middle turns yellow. At first, you only have a single charge available for a maximum of 300 limb. At level 4, you unlock the double charge, which lets you charge up to 600 limb. Finally, at level 7, there is a triple charge that uses 1000 limb. Once I had it fully upgraded, I used the triple charge on everything, even the weakest enemies, to maximize the amount of limb they dropped. I still messed up a lot. Even with the hours of using the weapon, I still managed to miss the charge up timing and would use too much limb. If this happened, I would either load my most recent save to try again, or go farm limb to build my reserves back up. But when it works, it most definitely works. Here is me two-shotting the boss at the mass production array.
Get closer to where we
Let's do this. It's on now, Big King.
The Terra Dome boss was likely the hardest, as it took 3 limb cannon shots and then a couple hits with the jackhammer.
Be careful!
Okay. Take it out and grab the regulator.
The Luna Digger, one shot for over 100,000 damage took it out. This one can only be finished off with a critical hit though. This Sentinel mini-boss gives a lot of people trouble, but an overdrive to start the fight and 3 fully charged limb cannon shots deletes him. And to finish the game, I threw down a hacking mine to hit 8 with a triple decode, and what should have been a 2-shot needed to be 3 because I messed up my timing, eliminated her. I had read so many comments about how Lunatic Mode wasn't that bad until you get to this boss and that it's an incredibly difficult fight. I have no doubt that's the case, but this method turned it into easy mode. With that completed, it was just a matter of getting to the cargo ship and sending Diana off again to earn the trophy Lunar Supremacy for completing the game on Lunatic difficulty and the Pragmata Platinum trophy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Pragmata was such a wonderful experience and a breath of fresh air to play. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the game if you have had a chance to try it. How does this one rank amongst the games you've played in 2026? If you would like to see more content like this in the future, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel as it really helps me out.
I'm ready.